So, namaste and welcome to Satsang today. And if you are new to these teachings, you are very, very welcome and really glad that you found us. Just a great big and growing family walking along this pathless path together. And that path really is to not only see what we are really, but also to live from that place, which is perhaps the thing that we might struggle with more than we think. Um, and awakening to who we really are, it's also called enlightenment, self-realization, all of those, um, is really just going to be simple in theory, but sometimes in practice, not so easy. Why not so easy? Because perhaps we've never really been shown or know how to look for something, how to find what we really are that isn't actually a thing, it isn't an object. We're very well versed in, trained in looking at objects, whether those are subtle objects like our thoughts, emotions, our tangible, visible objects through our senses. And how do we come to recognize something which isn't visible, isn't tangible, isn't moving and changing, and isn't perceivable to our senses at all? And our mind can think about what we really are, but can't really perceive it directly. So, this is where the practice of meditation and, of course, self-inquiry really come to the forefront, where we can begin to directly realize and notice what is always here about us. And each time we come back to notice that which is real, of course, our body and mind and our life is still going on, but we'll be able to allow those to go on. You'll be able to enjoy our life and progressively moving away from any sense of limitation, any fear, any shame, a sense of unworthiness, or anything like that, to a recognition that we are that formless consciousness, let's call it, that is pure sentience before form and actually appears as all of these forms, that there is actually only one consciousness, which is omnipresent, ever here, indivisible, indestructible, and it was never born and it will never die. So meditation and our self-inquiry are ways to get to know that consciousness. Because how many times have we ever really paid attention to something that is just always here? In fact, strangely, as human beings, we tend to give more value to that which is coming and going, as if it's the only thing that actually exists. And for a long time, for me, that was true. The only things that I could really believe in were what I could see through my senses and what I could experience in terms of thoughts and emotions. But it began to become clear at some point that at some point this body and this mind will go, will disappear. They won't be here forever. And if that is the only reference I have for myself, then there's going to be a lot of fear the whole time that I'm enjoying this body mind. And a desperate clinging to those experiences I'm having through my senses as a way to try to feel safer, feel better. So instead, we gather here in Satsang to not only recognize, but to begin to live as that which is always, always here. So we have many names for what we really are. Presence and consciousness I've already used. True self, divinity, Godhead, awareness, whatever, noumenon as well, which simply means that which is not perceivable to the senses and the mind, that which is not an object. But today we're going to do some meditation to use this word knower. So there is something that knows, something about you that knows instantaneously and automatically whatever the senses are experiencing. Right now, your eyes, if they're looking at the screen, are taking in a visual image, and your ears are taking in auditory stimuli. And something is knowing those, something is present to those. And it's not a thought or the mind that's knowing these things. What you are even knows the mind. It observes the mind, the coming and going of thoughts. So let's dive into some meditation for 15 or 20 minutes. And we're going to use this word, the knower. Or if you prefer, we could use the word knowing. There's something that is always knowing what is going on. And we're going to use the phenomena that arise to give us some contrast. We're going to contrast what is known. It's going to help us recognize that which is knowing. That which knows is what we really are, but it is formless and intangible, invisible. And so we can use what is tangible and visible to help us recognize that there's something that knows. So let's take a moment just to find as comfortable a position as we can. And you don't have to sit for this meditation in any position at all. It's really more important that we be as comfortable as we can for the 20 minutes we're going to meditate. And you don't have to close your eyes. You can, of course, if you prefer it that way. There aren't really any rules like that to this meditation. And we're not trying to change anything here. We're not going to change anything or achieve anything. There's no goal to get here. And we can use the presence of even phenomena that we might think are negative, such as frustration or restlessness, or if we have some physical pain in the body. We can use that to notice what knows, just as well as we could use peace, joy, and anger or bliss or thoughts. So for the purpose of meditation, all phenomena, everything that comes and goes, we're going to use simply to point us back to that which knows, that which sees. So whenever you're ready, if you want to close your eyes, you can. And we're just going to start by taking a few nice deep breaths and giving ourselves permission to really be here. Let's, for a moment, forget what we've got to do after satsang, if we can, and also what happened before. Let's be here now, together. Taking a few deeper breaths, and if you can, allowing that breath as you inhale to not only move the chest, but the diaphragm and the belly too. So you're getting a full inhale, Not overstretching or anything, just a nice, gentle inflating of all the lungs. And then exhaling slowly. Inhaling again whenever you're ready. And exhaling whenever you're ready. And who we really are is the simplest of things to recognize. And even right now, as we're breathing, there's something that knows, that watches, that sees the inhale and the exhale. You already know that you're inhaling or exhaling. You know that you're listening to words. There's no warm up for knowingness. It's already here. And you know that your body is seated. You know that your senses are taking in information. Can we just let the breath now move on its own as it wants to? And we're just going to notice that which knows. Something knows the presence of your body, these words, the breath moving. And it's not something that is visible to our eyes. We can't hear it with our ears. But there is something that knows. We're just noticing this knower. Just bringing attention gently to that which knows. If your eyes are closed, something knows that. If they're open, something knows that too. And you're not trying to achieve anything here. Just noticing this knowing that's happening. That's all. Bringing attention to that which knows, whatever that is. And at some point, attention will drift away to look at a thought that's arising or a sensation in the body. And we can use that thought or that sensation to notice that we know it's there. Something knows. And to bring attention back to that which knows. We can't find what knows as an object. But there is something here that is intelligent right now. So, whatever arises in your experience, thoughts, sensations, emotions, sounds in your environment, something knows all of this, something sees. Gently bringing attention back to that which knows. When we say, I know, what are we really pointing to? This knowingness that's here is constant, unchanging, unaffected by anything that it knows. It is before time, before space, before duality, before change. Whenever our attention wanders away towards something coming and going, we can simply use whatever is coming and going to point us back to this that knows. So we're not fighting with thoughts, with phenomena. We're welcoming them as a aid to our meditation. We can recognize the knower in the presence of what we know. So, in a few moments, we will be bringing our meditation to a close. But before we do that, let's take a moment to set the intention together that we come to continue to recognize this knower, the real self, the one that knows all, sees all, the one that was never born and will never die. And then, in your own time, whenever you're ready, and only if you want to, you can open your eyes and perhaps have a move around, have a stretch. If the body wants to move, it can. Maybe have a drink also if you want to. So even as we move into the question and answer section here of this satsang, we can still come to notice that knower, the one that knows the questions and the answers, the one that knows what the senses are experiencing, is something much more fundamental than we might have realized. And when we say, I know my mind is thinking, or I know my heart is racing, or I know I'm frustrated, I wonder if we really grasp the profundity of these words, I know. I am the knower. You are the knower, the omnipresent, universal, formless knower of all things. So I hope that you had a taste of that as something that is not actually a thing. That's something we can see with our senses or touch with our hands. That's something that we really are, which is not really in any particular place. It is not solid at all like our body, and yet it is intelligence itself. It is knowingness itself. It's always here, and yet we very rarely value that. We're much more excited by what we know, usually, or disturbed, or pushing against, or grabbing. And simply in a satsang, we're bringing attention to this that knows. So we can begin to recognize it. That recognition will happen by itself, simply from bringing attention back again and again to what we really are. So if there are any questions, you are welcome to raise your hand here. We can dive into maybe 4 or 5 questions, see how much time we have. And just a reminder to to look for the prompt on the screen to unmute when you're asked. So we'll start with Timo when you're ready.
Helen.
Hi, love. Wonderful.
Um, I have a doubt again.
Okay, no problem.
And
We
I
like
stumbled,
doubts. We can work with them.
yeah,
Not
I
a
stumbled
problem.
upon it when I imagined explaining self-inquiry to someone else. And then I realized I actually have this doubt myself. And it is how can I know that the seer or the seeing or consciousness is not a function of the brain, because I know I can there's something that sees the thoughts, and there's something that sees the imaginations of the mind and all that, and sensations. But how do I know that this seeing itself is not a function of the brain?
Mm. And it's a good thing to check out, isn't it? Because if I am, if this knowingness, this consciousness is inherent from the brain, it's going to die when the brain dies, isn't it? And then we'll be in trouble. So it's always good to check that out. Can you see that if this knowingness, this consciousness was part of the brain structure, coming from the brain, that it would have must have the ability to come and go, right? It starts when the brain starts, and then it's gone when the brain's dead, right? If that was the case. So let's have a look right now and see what you really are. And let's see if it's coming and going. What is it that you really are? What do you find when you look for yourself? This is where you always start smiling at me. I love it.
Well, my first impulse is to say I don't know, but at the same time, um, it is actually it's that in which everything else appears. There's some there's something I can't put words to that is stable
Mhm. Yeah.
and unchanging.
And are you experiencing that right now, that real, whatever this is? Right now, we're experiencing it together, right?
Yeah,
So is it coming and going?
no,
Beautiful. And if it was coming from the brain, it would have to depend upon something, right? It would need the body, the brain. Does this that you are, does it depend upon anything for its existence?
no. I it is I don't have this doubt experientially in a way.
Mm.
Like when I look now, but then I mean now while we're doing it, my brain is also there all the time. So how do I know that it would, yeah, that it's not from the brain?
If it was from the brain, then it would have to be an object, right? Coming and going, beginning and ending,
But
changing. Sometimes it's here, sometimes it's not.
couldn't the brain also, you know, produce an experience of infinity? Why wouldn't the brain be able to do that?
It could, but again, just checking in with what is really you right now, the experience of it. And I've used that word experience, but is it an experience? Is it coming and going like an experience?
No.
It's actually that which sees all experience, isn't it?
Yeah,
And what does it need to survive? Is it dependent on having a body even? Is it affected when the physical body goes?
how would I know? I don't know.
Well, let's take a look. Can anything impact this knowingness, this consciousness at all, this mystery? Can any form change it or affect it?
No, completely.
Is it changed by the presence of a body mind? And is it going to be changed when the body mind goes?
No, but still, could this not be something produced in the brain?
If it's produced in the brain, it would have to be dependent on the body, right? It would need the body. And it would be an object. If it were only possible to be here, this formless knowingness, when the brain was producing it, it would have to be able to come and go like an object, right?
I think that's the point where I'm not so sure, because why 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 could the brain only produce objects? Why wouldn't there, for example, be why couldn't it produce something like the experience of a seer, that something that perceives the thoughts that then are also in the brain?
The brain, well, let's just stick with objects. Any object at all, can it produce something that's not an object? Can it make something that has no limits and no definitions, no boundaries?
Probably not. I mean, but that's
Go ahead.
um, that's a little philosophical, isn't it? Or it's a little lofty, because I guess not, but I'm not sure how I would even know that.
Hmm. Let's switch it round another way then. Do you, the knowingness, know the body, or does the body know you?
I know the I know the body.
And who was here first, the body or you? These are just good questions that I had to really sit with because I really wanted to be certain that when I'm recognizing this formless knowing that I am consciousness, presence, whatever, I wanted to know with 100% certainty that absolutely nothing will happen to it when the body goes. Like with 100% certain, 150%. I don't want any fear anymore that when this goes, something's going to happen to me, right? So I really investigated it two ways. I really looked to see if what I am is an object, is if I'm not an object, then I'm really not dependent on anything for my existence. Objects need something in which to come and go, something in which to arise and disappear. There'll always be fear there if I think I'm an object. I'm coming and going. And I need some great space of being or something in which to arise and disappear again after. But if I'm not an object, if I am in fact that place in which every object arises and then comes and goes, I had to really look and see, am I dependent on anything? Right now, I'm using a body and mind, but do I need them at all? And our brain, it produces thoughts and all of that. But can it produce me, that which is not an object, eternally here, before time, before space, before change, not an object? And when I really sat with this, it took a little while and some real curiosity, and there was some frustration as well. But just to really want to know, can your brain produce anything that is not a thing, right? Is that even possible? It's a good question to ask to be certain. And we know the intellectual answer here, but that's not going to help us be free of fear, right? We want to see it ourselves. There's nothing that can stop you from finding this out, except letting the mind distract you from asking this question for as long as it takes. So literally just asking the question with a burning curiosity. I have to know. I have to know. Not efforting to find out, but I have to know with certainty. I'm not going to accept anything else than an absolute certainty that is just obvious to me, that nothing created me. I am that which creates everything. Yeah. So stay with this question for as long as it takes, and it won't take very long.
Okay. So the answer in the end is the seeing itself.
Yeah. Well, is there anything that can happen without you knowing it? In your experience, can anything happen without you knowing it?
Yeah.
Even the coming arising of a body mind was known by you, right? Just like right now you know you have a body, right? You know it's present. Later you'll know it's absent, and you'll still be here to know. But you've got to do the work yourself to ask the question, because obviously just to do, we know the answer, right? But we want to realize the answer experientially.
Yeah, right now I always come back to this point, and yet it could be in the brain.
Yeah, for me, I had to really just look at that. If what I am is just something arising, if consciousness is something arising from the brain, then at some point it will be gone. When I will be gone at some point. When I examined what I am experientially through my inquiry, I found that I can't go. I'm the only thing that cannot go because I never came, I never arrived. Only manifest things come and go. They appear, they exist for a while and disappear. But I'm not a thing and I'm not manifest either. I appear as all manifestation. You're not a thing, right? You're not manifest. So just to really be determined, I need to know, and I'm not accepting, I'm not dropping this question until I know, like the sages know, with that kind of certainty. Yeah, wonderful. And let me know what you find out.
Okay,
Wonderful. Thank you.
thank you.
Okay. Okay, so we'll take the hands that are up, and if I could ask for no more hands after that. Macarena, I hope Macarena. Sorry if I'm mispronouncing. There we go.
Acá estoy. Macarena, perfecto.
Mac
Hola,
Macarena,
Helen.
thank you. Macarena, thank you. Hola.
Hola, hola. Bueno, es la primera vez que yo estoy acá en vivo
It's the
y,
first time I'm here live,
Wonderful, wonderful.
y la experiencia que tuve fue que mi mente enloqueció.
and the experience I had was that my mind went crazy.
It's very normal, very normal.
Ah, ok. No podía parar, hasta sabía que iba a hablar con vos y me reía porque practicaba
I
este
couldn't
momento.
stop. I couldn't stop, and my mind was very active. And even I knew that I was going to speak with you, and I was preparing for that moment, for this moment.
The mind was preparing. You were just watching and knowing, right? The mind is busy preparing. I need to know what to say, or so I don't say the wrong thing or something. Yeah. Right now, as
Sí.
you're speaking, though, Is any of that you prepared? Is that what's coming out, or is it completely different?
No, sí, era algo parecido.
It was similar.
O sea, mi pregunta era, ¿esta mente, o sea, ¿va a parar esta mente en algún momento?
My
Eh,
question was, will this mind stop at some moment?
And my question is, do you need it to? Something wants your mind to stop, but is that you? If we think that we are a person or someone, we really feel like we're affected by our mind and its thoughts, and we want it to stop, we feel like. But when we find out who we really are, then we realize that we're not affected by that at all. What is it that knows those thoughts? What knows the mind? What sees it? Let's have a look together, if you want to. And let's not just assume, I know my mind is driving me crazy. Let's really look, what is it that sees the mind? And everyone can look together. What is it that sees the mind? What do you find when you look for that which knows the thoughts?
sí, eh, atrás de esos pensamientos yo encuentro esa paz.
Behind the thoughts, I notice a beingness.
Mm, good. Tell me about that
También,
beingness. Tell me about that, yeah. The beingness. Is it this beingness, is it a form or is it something without form?
sin forma.
No form.
And is it suffering?
No,
Is it changing?
no,
Beautiful. Is it affected by thoughts at all, this beingness?
no.
Notice how your body feels very different when you bring attention to this, right? When attention is on the mind, the body feels very tight and restless. When we bring attention to the beingness, the body responds also and kind of just feels different.
Emociona.
A lot of feeling is here.
Mm. Is this beingness that you are affected by anything? Can anything disturb it? We've looked at the mind already, but what about if some fear arises or some restlessness?
Mm, sí. Eh, sí, puede ser un miedo. Sí. Ujú.
Yes, it can be fear.
Let's have a look again. Can fear affect this beingness? If this beingness has no form, no shape? Fear can be here, right? Fear can exist in the body. But the beingness, is it actually disturbed by this? In fact, it's not even ignoring the fear, it's just allowing it to be here, allowing the thoughts, allowing the body to be as it is, right? Can this beingness change anything? Does it want anything to change?
No, inclusive cuando escuchaba todos estos pensamientos, una voz sentí
When
que,
I was listening to all these thoughts, a voice said,
que decía, déjalos estar, como si me hablaras vos y me dijeras que estén y fluían, fluían, fluían.
the voice said, let them be, like it was you talking.
But can the beingness do anything? Can beingness do anything at all? It doesn't even have to let them be, right? That's all it can, that's the only way it can be. You're doing so good. You want to go just a little further?
Sí.
Is this beingness, has it just arrived because we're looking at it, or has it always been here?
Always.
And is it ever going to go away?
No.
Good, good. And is there any separate person inside the beingness, or just the beingness? Are you as someone looking at beingness, or just beingness?
Sí, soy el ser.
Perdón, ¿puedes repetir, Macarena?
Sí, que soy el ser, pero es la identificación
I
con...
am the being, but it's also the identification.
The identification, can you prove it affects the beingness? Is the beingness identifying? Let's really look now, because this one thought will cause us a lot of trouble if we don't look at this. Can beingness even identify with anything? Mind is thinking, I am the one identifying, says the mind. A thought says, I am identifying with the body, but it's just a thought that you know, that you see, that you perceive. So, are you free right now as beingness? Free from suffering, free from identification?
Sí, sí.
That's good news, isn't it? Good news. Our mind is never going to really understand this. It's always going to say you have to do more work, right? You can't just be free now. It's going to want to give you a job. But the more that you come back and see this beingness, it's already free, already here. It's formless and it cannot identify. Identifying is a thought process, and you are before thoughts. So keep coming back like this and seeing this again and again, reminding yourself whenever you need to, I am already free. And I don't need my mind to get that, to understand that. If I realize I am before the mind, watching the mind, unaffected by the mind. You've done so well there, so, so well. Is your mind talking now?
No.
Okay. There's nothing it can say about this, is there really? But we don't mind the mind from here. We don't mind it. It's just another phenomenon, right? Like everything else. Thank you so much. Done so well. Thank you.
Eres la parte mía más linda que he encontrado. Gracias, gracias, gracias.
You are the most beautiful that I found.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. I'm just a reflection of you. Same beauty is there in you, right? Beautiful. Thank you.
Gracias.
Okay. Okay, we will go to Pauline.
There we go.
Hi.
Hi, Helen. I love the knowing because that made the bridge between between knowing myself as the spaciousness, and then you'd say it's sentient, and I found that a bit of a jump to go from spaciousness to sentience, but when I use knowing, it's very obvious.
Yeah. Yeah.
But while during the meditation, I saw that it's actually the same as loving.
Did you say love?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because everything that I was looking at to try and use as a contrast, it disappeared because it was me. It was the knowing that.
What we know, such as thoughts or emotions or even physical pain, is exactly the same as the knower. And if we look, we can't find a place where the me that knows stops and what we know begins. It's an imaginary boundary, isn't it? If we really look.
That's what I was saying. And also, I mean, in a way, it contrasts to what you've said many times, and which I love, which is that you're very happy to let go of knowing anything. But that's the knowing about. That's
If I don't know anything, then I know no thing, no thingness. There's only, or you could say, there's only knowingness. And it's not dividing itself anymore into an imaginary someone that knows and what I know, right? It's just knowingness appearing as subject and object, but not really.
Yeah, I like knowingness. That's sort of encompasses it all.
It was such a helpful word for me because silence, awareness, all of those were great, but when I was in pain physically or emotionally or having some terrible experience, I could still somehow recognize that I know this. There's something that
Yeah,
knows, right?
absolutely.
It
Yeah.
was a
Yeah.
lifesaver, in fact, in those terrible times.
Yeah, because even if you at that moment you can't love it, you can know it.
Yeah, exactly. And it's exactly the same as beingness or awareness or consciousness, but sometimes the word makes a difference.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Builds
So
a bridge. Actually, you said it builds a bridge, which is lovely. I love that. Yeah.
I just wanted to share something quickly. So I heard the other day this woman, it was her 100th birthday, and
Wow.
somebody asked her, well, what have you learned? And she said, well, when I wake up in the morning, I think I'm going to have a miracle. And then I get up to claim my miracle.
Wow.
Oh, that's cute. So I remembered it when I woke up the next morning. I thought, a miracle. Hmm. Um, what kind of miracle? And then it just came, I am the miracle.
Mm.
I mean, it was just, and I floated through the day as the miracle.
It's true, right? Our existence. If this knowingness that's formless is so complete, so total, so loving, why would it bother even to appear as these shapes, right? And
Yeah.
the fact that somehow it does show up
And
even as all of this and as you and me and everyone, that's a
everything
miracle.
you do, I mean, sailing through the housework, it was all, and what I realized was well, so I went on the computer for a bit. I had some stuff to do. And when I got off, I thought, my body's not feeling as great as it did. I started doing the vegetables and then I thought, oh, that feeling, that's another miracle. Because I can look at that. It's like, it was almost like a gift
Mhm.
that, because it was something new to
Yeah.
see. Anyway, I was very happy with that. And then the second day, I got such a lovely miracle. I have to share that one because I was hoping to come to your new retreat, but I was dithering because I live in Greece and it coincides with the Greek Easter, which
Mhm.
is a big deal here. And I was thinking, well, I don't know. And my friend said, well, it's recorded. And I thought, yeah, but anyway, it made me remember. I was looking for a meditation on stillness. I thought, my God, that was the retreat uh,
Mhm.
last June.
Yeah.
And I found all the recordings. And oh my God, it was like an Aladdin's treasure trove. Oh, I mean, you said at the beginning of it, it's a gift. After the retreat is a gift that keeps on giving.
Mhm.
It, so I'm saying this in case anybody else is thinking, I won't be able to make it. Because honestly, finding them now, because I have changed since then, of course, so it's all new. And it's so beautiful. So thank you.
Thank you. It was a beautiful 5 days we had together, resting in stillness retreat, wasn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, I'm still having it.
Yeah. Still there. Yeah, still feeling it here. Yeah. Thank you so much.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
Let's celebrate the miracle of us, all of us. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. Oh, miracle, miracle. Do you know what it means? You love word etymology.
I do not,
Etymologically,
it's one
it
word I've
means,
never looked up.
yeah, it means, well, it's from the PIE root, that is smile, love. How about that? Mira, look, and then smile and love.
Wow. That brings a whole different meaning to it.
Doesn't it?
I'm gonna write that down when we're finished and yeah, thank you. Thank you, thank you. Thank you. Lots of love.
And to you.
Wonderful. Okay, we'll go to Pete. There we go.
Thanks. Hi,
We
Helen.
we got there in the end. Hi, love. How are you doing?
Not great, actually. Do I have to ask a question about the meditation?
No. Anything at all.
Okay.
Anything to do with awakening.
Probably manage that. Yeah.
Other life stuff, maybe I'm not the best person to ask, but awakening, I could probably help.
Okay. So, coming on and speaking in a group is very difficult. And each time I think, okay, all I have to do is to be present. But there's a part of me mostly gets quite paralyzed. And a lot of thoughts, I'm going to get it wrong, or very critical thoughts, I would say.
Yeah.
And a lot of the time, I can't expand. I watch people come on very eloquently speaking, and I can do that more somewhere else, but here it's tricky. And it feels it's important to me. I want to be free from this place. It's there's a sort of question that I don't know if it's related, but I always looked at my feelings, and I try to do that with what we would call the knower. Now. And then I would endeavor to listen to it, and usually the thought or thoughts behind it would just arise intuitively. And over time, I suppose I would be less fearful of it and can see through it, I suppose. I think I realize it's not real. That's when it kind of really works.
Yeah.
But there are feelings that I've had more difficulty with. Where am I going with this? I think part of me, when I come here, it all starts up. I keep thinking, I'm going to handle this somehow, and then I go, okay, well, it's a healing possibility. That's why I choose to go ahead. Part of me wants to run, but then my usual place is to stay and tough it out, sort of thing.
And you're doing great. You really are.
Somebody said that to me this morning, and I'm just in the process of applying for a new accommodation. And they say, you've done really well to get this far. And I just burst into tears. And actually, it felt like a triumph that I could let that in. I was just trying to let in what you just said. I just felt still defended. It feels like, I feel like the thing about this looking at feelings, and what I hear you're teaching is to move back and to put my attention on the knower.
Mm-hmm.
And when I did that tonight, I almost felt hysterical. I mean, I desperately wanted to put my attention on this panicky feelings. It felt like I was abandoning a kind of inner child, really.
When I first started to look at really difficult emotions, like you're describing here, and the exact same thing. I mean, I've been teaching now for nearly 15 years, and it took nearly 6 or 7 years before I could actually even get on a Zoom meeting like this without actually being terrified and without my mind being constantly talking before the satsang, like, what are you going to say? What if you get it wrong? And then after the satsang, the moment it finished, whether it was in my house to begin with or on Zoom, after it finished, there'd be hours and hours and hours of analysis going on in the mind and judgment and all of that. And it felt like the longest, hardest battle to actually arrive at a place where I could feel relatively comfortable. I mean, now you see me, I look relaxed and I'm happy and peaceful and all of that, but it really wasn't like that for so long. And I felt like for the longest time I was caught between wanting to recognize that which knows and actually wanting to honor these feelings or these emotions that were so strong. And I actually came to eventually recognize that when I noticed the knower, as we're calling it today, that the knower is the only thing that isn't pushing against these emotions, that can actually show up for them. Because my mind would say that if I notice the knowingness that's before the emotion, the consciousness, the presence, then I'm ignoring and bypassing the emotion, not honoring it, not allowing it to be felt. But when I actually looked, when attention is on that which knows, as we were saying with Pauline, it actually envelops and encompasses what it knows. So a thought or an emotion or something. I actually came to recognize actually that's the only way to really authentically honor an emotion is to live, to notice the knowingness that is just there with it. And yet, as we were saying before in our inquiry, this knowingness cannot do anything with what it sees, what it knows, and doesn't want to.
Can you say that last bit again?
That knowingness, whatever it knows, whether that's a thought or an intense emotion, it can't do anything with it and has no wish to. All it can do is be with it, literally just be with it. And I realized that actually that is love, to just be with this emotion,
Yeah.
to just be here with it, to be that place that cannot and does not need to change what I'm showing up to.
So it's helpful coming on because then I get to see what I'm thinking, and it feels like a sort of it's an idea of the something storm when three storms come together, and as you said that about honoring the emotions, I felt really emotional, and a lot of there is quite a bit of healing and releasing going on around love and actually the thought of being cared for.
Maybe part of that journey is to accept that maybe these feelings will be here for a while, but it's not stopping you right now from expressing yourself, is it? It'd be nicer if you could express yourself without the fear and things. But here you are doing it anyway. And that is literally, that is you showing up for what is right now, isn't it? It's pretty amazing.
Yeah, that feels the only way I can be present is to try and. I mean, I often want to rehearse and do rehearse, but I know when it comes to it, that's not going to work. It doesn't work. I just need to be with you. Just
And we are, right? We're all just here. You know, our human lives have taken us wherever they've taken us, and we've had these experiences, and there's all these emotions built up inside of us. And a large part of the awakening journey is to arrive at a place where we can just be authentically here for whatever needs to be seen, whether that's emotion or self-judgment, or maybe we're judging others, or whatever it is that's going on. And in my own journey, it was some things only healed, some things only resolved by showing up for them like this. Not that everyone has to put their hand up to talk live, but if we're willing to, then something moves, doesn't it? Something shifts. And you're
well,
doing.
I'm used to it. I've done it a lot. I haven't always done it from being present, but in recent times I've done that more, and that's become harder, more fearful.
Or maybe more fear is arising because it knows you can meet it as presence. Maybe it's not actually becoming more fearful, but that fear feels finally safe to show up and say, hey, here I am. For me, there was something really healing about just knowing that I could be present to that. And there was a lot of intense fear,
Yeah.
terror for a long time, years, in fact. Sometimes it would come and go, but just to finally be able to show up for it was such a gift. If that's all awakening ever gave me, that would be more than enough. I can meet whatever needs to be met. Sometimes when that happens, the emotions that we've been suppressing as an imaginary person just come running to the forefront towards the light of our being and saying, yes, please, I want in on that love. I want to be met. I know you know this, but sometimes it's just helpful
I
to
know it, but I do know it, but it's you actually right now expressing that love. That's that's it. That's the difficulty. That's receiving that. And I did. The tears kind of represent for me. I'm receiving it. I suddenly feel upset, and it feels like a deeper upset around love. Long time ago, well, many things, but who knows? But I mean, I have ideas about all that, obviously, and I meet those places when I get upset. I can tell I'm a 5-year old or something like that.
and
See,
we've all been taught that love is a dangerous thing, that it can be given or taken away,
yeah,
that it's conditional upon our being a certain way, behaving a certain way.
yeah,
And so we have our defenses, we all do.
yeah,
Slowly, slowly, slowly they come down. But even if something feels closed around the heart or the mind is closed to the love, still we're here together, right? That's all that really needs to happen. We're just showing up together.
thank you. Yeah,
And what you're bringing forward here is everyone's concern, isn't it? Everyone's challenge, everyone's journey that you're describing is how do we actually meet those really difficult things? And So you're speaking for everyone, and certainly exactly my experience. I would not have been able to sit here like this even 5 years ago because the idea that I was sitting here talking to a lot of other beings was terrifying, paralyzing. It's only really as the recognition has deepened of who I really am that there aren't any other beings, that it's actually possible to even enjoy satsang, right? And that takes as long as it takes for each of us. What matters is that we show up, right? We're here for what needs to be seen.
Okay.
And you're doing that.
It's been really helpful. It's really helpful, just kind of, it seems so basic. I mean, my critical mind, but I just so, it's helpful. It's hard to say it, being loved.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, really fundamentally, that's what awakening is, isn't it? Just loving what is, coming to a place where we love what is.
Yeah.
What we thought we couldn't love before, finally we can. Doesn't mean we like it, but we can love it. And that's what's emerging for you now, right? Right here as we're talking together, we're just being with what is. And it might seem to the mind basic, but that is the fundamental of awakening. That's the fundamental. If we could describe consciousness or knowingness in any way at all, it would be just that which is and always is here for whatever shows up, right? And you are literally being that presence, that beingness right now, consciously, choosing to meet what needs meeting. That is awakening, that's it.
That sounds good.
Gradually, as we meet it from there, it begins to melt, begins to soften. But from presence, from consciousness, from beingness, we don't need it to dissolve. We're not on an agenda, right? We're not hurry up and disappear fear. It's okay. You can be here for as long as you need to be here.
Okay, so that's just, you're saying that just to support me to just accept what is.
Yeah, and to perhaps contrast from the mind that's saying, okay, I'll feel you, I'll meet you, fear, because then you'll go away, right? And of course, you'd rather feel peace than fear. But when we meet what is, there's always peace also, and fear, peace and shame, peace and anger, you know.
Thank you for this opportunity.
Thank you. Every time I speak to you, my heart just opens even more, and that's the greatest gift you could give. So I'm really grateful. Thank you so much for being so brave and helping us all.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, we'll finish with Anne. Here we go. Wonderful. Hi, love.
Hiya. Gosh, I don't even know where to start, Helen.
Okay.
My mind's just gone a little bit.
It's a perhaps a hard to follow the conversation, right? To come after what just happened anyway. It's
Yeah.
I'm feeling a little bit like, what was that? Wow, beautiful.
Yeah. The reason I put my hand up was I've been out in a social occasion, which I still really struggle massively with, Um, and I felt it, like whilst I was there, but it was kind of like just sort of surface stuff. But I fell asleep when I got home, woke up 10 to 6, absolutely filled with this horror, this self-hatred.
Mm.
And I'd actually put something of yours on before I fell to sleep, and it was about you were describing a lot of body hate and, things that you'd been through.
Oh, been there, done that, yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. Yeah.
And I must have just crashed out, couldn't listen to anymore, and then woke up in this horrific place, like where everything was wrong. But like doing the meditation as best as I could,
Hmm.
because I was flipping in and out. But that's what's beautiful here. It's like that's okay. I don't have to be rigid or, um, so that's helpful. Yeah. I was, I felt really like disappointed because I've been only a few months, but I've been getting such a lot of help and doing the processes and it's like the speed with which I can just like move out of that emotion. There's something scary about it, Helen. And it happened just before when Pauline mentioned the miracle. And it was like, it just all disappeared for a moment. Then it came back because I believed a thought that came in and I was back in it. Um, but it's like it just brings up this lack of deserving.
Mhm.
And Pete touched on this. I actually know Pete. Um, it's like I don't know how. Um, yeah, I just don't know. I'm here, and the tears came before, but now I can feel just, um, yeah, just below my heart, just a feeling of tension. I, I don't know what I'm doing here, actually.
Neither do I, actually. We have that in common. I don't know what I'm doing here either.
And that
It-
scares me.
well, can you relax into that a little bit? Let's feel our way into that. Do you need to know why you put your hand up or what you're going to say or any of that? Let's just feel into that together. Do we have to have it all figured out? And everyone can feel into this as well. Do we need to have certainty right now, just together here? Or is it okay to not know, just for a moment? Is it okay to feel uncomfortable, just for a moment?
Okay, just for a moment. I was
Just for a
nearly,
moment, it's okay.
yeah, I nearly said no, but then it was like, oh, actually, yeah.
So just for a tiny section of time, maybe I don't have to have it all together, right? And something might be shouting in the background. Yes, you do. You have to, you put your hand up. There should be a reason for it or something. Whatever it's saying, it's okay, right? We can just let that be here also. And at first, when I started to just admit that I don't really know, I don't really know, it was really very uncomfortable. I don't know why I'm here. I don't know what I'm doing here. I don't know what I'm going to say next. It was like one of those roller coaster rides, where you're holding on for white knuckles.
Yeah, that's how I'm feeling. Yeah.
But you're still alive. You're still here, right? And
Mhm.
nothing terrible has happened in this time that you're just being uncomfortable together. We're just being uncomfortable together. And who said that we have to have it figured out? Who said that? Where is it written? This immense pressure that we put upon ourselves to know, to have to know what to do and say. And we even bring that into our spiritual practice. I should know by now. I've contemplated and I've meditated and all of that. But maybe all of that brings us to a place where we can finally feel uncomfortable and not avoid it. And if you feel somewhere deep down inside, there might also be just a little relief that you can finally. I don't have to be a shape right now, right? I'm not having to be someone. I can just be whatever I am right now, this uncomfortableness. Can you feel it?
Yeah, there's like a safety in that. It's like, yeah, I'm just balling and I'm not together or anything in front of all these people, and yet that seems secondary. This,
In front of all these bodies, there's only you here. You're really, really safe. Yeah.
yeah.
You're talking to yourself right now, and you're enjoying satsang with all these other versions of you. And that comes to the forefront when we can just let what is be. And sometimes it's just allowing ourselves to just kind of fall apart a little bit, just a little bit, and to taste how nice that is to not finally not have an agenda right now. And after relief, if we can stay there for just a little longer, relief, a little contentment starts to creep in and a little peace. You're doing so, so well. You really are being so brave. You're setting a good example for everyone here. And I know you have your eyes closed right now, but there are so many hearts going for you, popping up on the screen. I've
beautiful.
still never figured out how to do that on Zoom. Somebody will have to tell me at some point. But yeah. How are you feeling now?
There's like tears, but there's like I don't know the reason for them even.
Maybe
But
they're just the body's way of releasing something that's been kind of, you know, stuck or something.
there is a relief in that, a release, something,
Mhm.
Yeah.
Can we fall apart a little more? Can we just kind of not know for just a few more minutes together? I would really like that if you want to, and everyone's welcome to join in on this falling apart party, we can call it. Just enjoying it feels so good to just not have it together, right? To not be having to constantly pull yourself into a particular shape.
Yeah.
And by the way, this is awakening. Just showing up for what is, right? Right now, you're living as the infinite self, the presence, the knowingness. You can feel it, right? Something is moving to the foreground, something that just doesn't need anything to be different.
The church bells have just started going. I don't know if you can hear them, but
Not
they're
really,
really
but yeah,
loud for me.
perfect. Yeah. Time to wake up, right? The more we kind of practice this, right? There's just this knowingness that knows uncomfortability, it knows fear, it knows bliss, it knows peace, it knows relief, it knows church bells, it knows nothing at all. If there's nothing to know, it still knows, right? And it's who you authentically are. And this tight costume of someoneness that's been overlaid over that is beginning to break apart, isn't it? And one of the most fundamental moments in my awakening was not like the most blissful meditation I had. It was actually when I got some really bad news and um, catastrophic news, and I just fell apart. I fell apart. I was sobbing and I actually fell on the floor. I really wasn't expecting expecting it at all. And I remember at the same time, there was something enjoying the fact that I was actually falling apart, and there was nothing saying I should not be doing that. There was no thought saying, get it together, Hamilton, everybody's watching. There was nothing going on inside except something gently watching my mind and body have this, whatever it was, this moment, long moment. It's kind of what you've just done here, isn't it? That I can just fall apart. And somehow in that we sort of kind of come back to wholeness, some effortlessness in what you really are, isn't it? Not the effort of trying to hold myself. I'm going to hold myself in the shape of who I think you need me to be so that you'll like me or love me or not reject me. But I can actually just be me and you can be you, even if we're freaking out or uncomfortable or something. Now you're really starting to enjoy, right? Falling apart. Just for a moment.
I don't really feel like I'm falling apart anymore. I'm just empty, but in a gentle way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this in itself is actually where the practices take us to. I'd rather be authentic, actually. Authentically terrified or frustrated or restless than, this artificial sense of someone that is just too small now, isn't it, for us?
Yeah.
It shrank in the wash in the tumble dryer and now it's too small. When we put it on, it's too tight.
Yeah. Yeah.
So my best advice would be to fall apart as often as you can and want to. And really, it's not falling apart then, is it? It's just actually being yourself, whatever that is. I'm
Yeah.
here. You said I'm here, which is profound. I'm just here. That's all I really know, actually.
Yeah. I just keep saying it, but it's like being in a love bath or something, where everywhere you look, it's just hearts and flowers in a nice way, not a false or inauthentic way. And there's the safety that I've
Mm.
never really known. It's so, so beautiful. It really is.
The paradox of realizing that no phenomenon can touch me, no thought, no emotion, nothing. And yet in that, I have nothing but a great love for all phenomena. There's nothing I'd want to avoid. It's kind of where you end up, isn't it? If utter safety, because nothing can touch me here. And nothing can change me. But in that, there's a fearlessness then, right? To just be with everything, even fear. This is what's happening when we're doing these practices. Any authentic spiritual practice is gently, without our realizing, changing our identity to that which is always here. We might not realize it until we have something very difficult come to the surface. Then we go, wait a minute, I'm actually dealing with this very differently than I would have done before. Then you can see something's changing here, right? Something's different about me. So,
Yeah. It's like the emotion was as powerful as it's ever been, but it's moved so fast, because 10 minutes later I could come here and now I'm talking with you. It's
and you're
like,
relaxed and you're smiling, and
yeah,
even if it was still here, it's okay, right? It's
yeah,
okay.
yeah, it is. It's okay. Yeah.
It can live in your house as long as it needs to, right? Until it's ready to move on.
I'm not sure I agree with that. Sometimes when it's so intense, I really struggle with it, like I did this evening. But when when I feel it, when I move into it, then it's okay. You
This
know,
I this eye that you find when you fall apart, does it struggle with anything?
No.
Only the thought constructed self struggles with anything, right?
Yeah.
And there's nothing wrong with that, of course. It's how we have lived. But maybe when something seems too strong, it's an invitation to just step back into this that can be with anything.
Yeah.
Which is all we were really doing in meditation, right? Noticing this knowingness that can be with what is, whatever is arising in front of it. Wonderful. Enjoy it.
Thank you.
Thank you, love. Good to talk to you. Well, what a powerful and amazing time we've had together. And I'm always just blown away completely by your openness and your authenticity and your willingness to show up for satsang and be here together. There's something magic that happens, right, when we show up together like this. And being able to just be here and bear witness for our process, for our journey together, it is just so... Well, I don't have a word for that, but I can know you can probably feel it right now. So thank you so much, everyone, for your open and honest sharing. And thank you to our co-hosts and translators. My Spanish voices, I would be lost without you. Thank you so much. Thank you. Namaste.
Thank you.
Thank you, Helen.
Gracias, Helen. Muchísimas